Welcome back to the Deep Dives. Today, we're going to do a deep dive into plant-based eggs.
Okay.
You know, they're everywhere now. You see them.
Yeah, you see them all over the place.
Pretty much. In every grocery store, at least.
Yeah, definitely.
And, you know, I think a lot of people just kind of take them for granted.
Yeah.
But have you ever, thought about the science behind how they make those things?
It is pretty amazing when you think about, all the different things that a normal egg does.
Right.
You use it for so many different things in cooking.
Yeah.
And to replicate that with plants, it's got to be pretty tough.
Right. How do you even begin to start with that?
Well, just think about it for a second.
Yeah.
What do you use eggs for? What are all the different ways you use them?
Well, I mean, in baking.
Oh, yeah.
To make cakes rise, you use eggs. And...
Yeah, they bind stuff together, they create fluffy textures like in meringues.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's not just you're making scrambled eggs.
No.
You're trying to make something that can actually...
It's a multitasker.
Yeah, that's a good word for it.
Yeah.
So what's from your perspective, what's the biggest challenge? You're a food scientist.
Yeah.
What's the thing that you would be thinking about if you were going to make a plant-based egg?
Well, I mean, you got to think about how an egg cooks.
Okay.
When you heat up an egg, what happens?
The proteins.
The proteins, exactly.
Do something.
They do something. So, basically, proteins are these long chains of molecules all folded up.
Uh-huh.
And when you apply heat, those chains unfold and start to link up together like they're holding hands.
Okay.
And that's what makes the egg, solidify.
So, if they don't link up properly, you get a runny mess.
Pretty much, yeah. You get something that's not quite right.
Got it.
And the thing with plant proteins is they're a little bit more independent.
Okay.
They have different structures, and they often need higher temperatures to link up.
Oh.
So that can be tricky.
So you can't just use any old plant protein?
No, you got to be picky.
What kind of plants are they looking at?
All sorts.
Really?
Yeah, they're looking at soybeans, they're looking at mung beans, trying to find proteins that are sustainable, affordable, but also gel at the right temperatures.
Mm-hmm.
They're even looking at duckweed, believe it or not.
Duckweed?
Yeah, that tiny plant that grows on ponds.
Oh, wow. I did not know that.
Yeah.
So it's really like a treasure hunt.
It is.
For the right plant protein.
Exactly.
But, I was reading about this other technology. It's called precision fermentation.
Oh, yeah. Precision fermentation.
What is that all about?
Now, that is some futuristic stuff.
Really?
Yeah, basically, scientists can insert genes into microorganisms like yeast or bacteria.
Oh, wow.
To produce very specific proteins, almost like programming them.
Wow.
To be like tiny little protein factories.
So instead of finding a plant protein, they can actually just make it themselves.
Pretty much.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what does that mean, for plant-based eggs?
I mean, the potential is huge.
Yeah.
That means we're not just limited to the proteins found in nature.
Okay.
We could actually engineer proteins that are even better than what's out there.
So potentially faster innovation, curd textures, maybe even lower costs.
Potentially, yeah.
That's really cool.
It is.
But how do they even know which protein to create?
Well, that's where AI comes in.
What?
Yeah, companies like Shiru, they're using AI to analyze massive amounts of data and predict which proteins will have the right properties.
Hold on, AI is designing plant-based eggs.
It's pretty wild, right?
That is crazy.
Yeah.
How does that even work?
So basically, they feed all this information into the AI about different proteins.
Okay.
And the AI looks for very specific characteristics like at what temperature does the protein solidify?
Right.
Or how does it interact with other ingredients to create the right texture?
Wow.
It's all about precision and control.
So it's like having a microscopic chef, basically.
Yeah, a tiny little chef that's tweaking and fine-tuning the protein.
Oh my gosh.
Until it's just right.
That is incredible.
Yeah.
But even with the perfect protein, there's more to it, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
What else goes into making that perfect plant-based scramble?
Well, you got to think of that. An egg isn't just protein.
Right.
There's fats, there's emulsifiers, there's all these other components that contribute to the taste and the texture.
So the yolk?
Yeah, the yolk. You can't forget about the yolk.
Right. You can't just have the egg white.
Exactly.
And so they have to figure out how to make a yolk out of plants too.
Yeah. And it's not easy.
I bet.
So they're using things like vegetable oils to control the texture.
Okay.
And gums to prevent the proteins from separating.
Mm-hmm.
And, they even have to think about how to make the plant-based egg change color when you cook it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Just like a real egg goes from translucent to white.
Wow. So they're really trying to trick our eyes.
They are. It's all about creating that authentic egg experience.
Wow, that is attention to detail.
It is.
But of course you can't talk about plant-based eggs without talking about the taste.
Ah, yes, the elephant in the room.
Yeah, like that beanie flavor.
The beanie flavor.
I've definitely noticed that with some brands.
Yeah.
Why is that a thing?
Well, it comes from certain compounds that are naturally found in plants.
Okay.
And getting rid of those compounds is a big challenge.
I bet.
Yeah.
So is there any hope for a future without beanie plant-based eggs?
Well, that's where things get interesting.
Okay.
Because some people think plant-based eggs should taste exactly like chicken eggs.
Mm-hmm.
But others think that's not necessarily the goal.
Wait, so maybe we don't actually want them to taste exactly like chicken eggs?
Maybe not. I mean, if you think about it,
Okay.
that classic eggy flavor,
Yeah.
it actually comes from sulfur compounds that are released as the egg ages.
Oh.
And those compounds aren't necessarily everyone's cup of tea.
That's so true.
Yeah.
Like, I've definitely had eggs that were a little too eggy for my liking.
Right. Exactly.
Mm.
So some people are saying like maybe a more neutral flavor profile is the way to go.
A neutral flavor.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
So imagine like a plant-based egg that serves as kind of a blank canvas.
Mm-hmm.
So you can add whatever flavors you want.
Oh, so like you could have like a Mexican-inspired omelet.
Exactly.
Or like Indian spices.
Exactly.
Oh.
It opens up all sorts of culinary possibilities.
Oh, okay. I see where you're going with this.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
really cool.
It is.
This is really making me rethink my whole perspective on plant-based eggs.
Yeah.
But okay, let's talk nutrition. Like,
All
are
right.
these things actually healthier than real eggs?
That's a great question.
Yes.
Right now, they're
Yeah.
pretty similar nutritionally.
Okay.
But the really exciting thing is the potential.
Okay.
Like, what if we could make plant-based eggs that are even healthier than traditional eggs?
Okay, now you've got my attention.
Yeah.
What kind of like nutritional superpowers are we talking about?
Well, there's a lot of research going on.
Okay.
But one thing they're looking at is adding lutein to plant-based egg yolks.
Lutein.
Yeah.
Isn't that the stuff that's good for your eyes?
Yes, it's an antioxidant
Okay.
that's found naturally in egg yolks.
Uh-huh.
And it helps protect against age-related macular degeneration.
So they could create a plant-based egg that's actually better for your eyes
Potentially, yes.
than a regular egg.
That's the idea.
That's amazing.
And that's just the beginning.
Oh, wow.
They're also looking at ways to tweak the amino acid profile,
Uh-huh.
boost the calcium content, iron content.
Really?
Yeah.
So we could have plant-based eggs that are better for the planet, they're better for animal welfare,
Yeah.
and they're better for us.
That's the ultimate goal.
Wow.
It's about adding science to create food that's both sustainable and incredibly nutritious.
This is blowing my mind.
That's pretty amazing stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really sounds like we're on the brink of like a plant-based egg revolution.
It does feel that way.
Yeah.
It does.
But before we wrap up this first part of our dive,
Okay.
I have a thought for you to ponder.
Okay, I'm listening.
What if the goal isn't just to replace conventional eggs?
Hmm.
What if plant-based eggs could be something completely new?
Oh, wow.
Something beyond anything we've ever seen before.
Now, that is a really interesting question.
Right.
It really makes you think outside the box.
It does.
It does.
Yeah. Something that could change the way we think about food entirely.
Yeah, like what would that even look like?
I mean, who knows, right? That's the
Yeah.
beauty of it.
Yeah.
But it's fun to imagine.
It is fun to imagine.
Yeah.
Okay, well, this has been really interesting.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm already starting kind of rethink
Yeah.
my whole relationship with eggs.
It's amazing how much is going on behind the scenes, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
Like with all of this research.
Yeah. And all of this technology that's being developed. It's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
It is exciting.
Yeah. Okay, so, I think we've talked a lot about
Yeah.
like the potential benefit of plant-based eggs,
Yeah.
For the planet, for animal welfare, for
Yeah.
our own health. But there are also, some things that I think we should consider,
Yeah,
like as
certainly.
these products become more mainstream.
Yeah, like what are some of the things that we need to be thinking about?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I think one thing that's really important is transparency.
Okay.
Like labeling, making sure consumers know exactly what's in these products and how they're made.
That makes sense. Like,
Yeah.
we need to know what we're eating.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's not just about the ingredients.
Okay.
Like we also need to think about the environmental impact.
Uh-huh.
Are these plant-based eggs truly more sustainable than traditional eggs?
Right.
How much water and energy are used in the production process?
So it's not just about replacing one type of egg with another. It's
Yeah.
about making sure that,
It's about the bigger picture.
yeah, that the alternative is actually better for the planet.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
And, there are economic implications as well.
Okay.
Like, how is the rise of plant-based eggs going to impact farmers
Right.
and workers in the traditional egg industry.
That's a really good point.
Yeah. Something to think about.
Yeah.
It's complex.
It is.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I'm still really optimistic
Me too.
about the future of plant-based eggs.
I think it's really exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's important to be, skeptical and ask questions.
Right.
But also to be excited
Yeah.
about the possibilities.
Exactly. Like, who knows what they're going to come up with next?
Exactly. That's what I love about this field.
Yeah. One thing I was reading about
Yeah.
that I thought was really interesting was
Yeah.
this idea of cellular agriculture.
Oh, yeah.
Have you heard of that?
Yeah, cellular agriculture is super cool.
What is that?
So basically, it's like growing animal products,
Okay.
like meat and eggs,
Mm-hmm.
directly from cells
Okay.
in a lab.
Wait, so you're telling me we
Yeah.
could have lab-grown eggs
Yeah.
that are basically identical,
Molecularly identical
Wow.
to a regular egg,
but without all the...
but without the ethical concerns,
Yeah.
the environmental concerns.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's like actually a possibility.
It is a possibility. It's still early stages,
Okay.
but the potential is enormous.
That's incredible.
It is.
So like, what are the challenges with that?
Well, I mean, one of the big ones is cost.
Okay.
Right now, it's really extensive
Uh-huh.
to produce meat or eggs through cellular agriculture.
Right.
But as the technology develops,
Yeah.
the cost will come down.
So it's still like on the horizon.
Yeah.
But it's definitely something to watch.
Oh, definitely. It's a game changer.
Yeah, that is really wild.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think it's time to wrap up this part of our deep dive. But
Yeah.
before we do, I want to leave our listeners with
Yeah.
one final thought.
Okay, I'm all ears.
It's like we were talking about before, plant-based eggs being healthier,
Right.
more sustainable.
Yeah.
What if we could make them even better?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, what if the goal isn't just to, like, replace regular eggs?
Yeah.
What if it's to create something totally new?
Something that's like beyond eggs.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I like that.
Like, imagine plant-based eggs
Yeah.
that have, like, specific health benefits built in.
Oh, right.
Like, boosted immunity,
Mhm.
but, like, better brain function.
Yeah, like cognitive enhancement.
Yeah.
That would be wild.
Right.
Yeah.
Or what about, like,
Yeah.
eggs that are tailored for different life stages?
Oh, interesting.
Like, different nutrients for kids,
yeah.
or for older adults.
That's a really cool idea.
Right.
Yeah, like personalized nutrition
Yeah.
through plant-based eggs.
It's like science fiction, but, like,
I know, right?
in food form.
It's like food is becoming the new frontier of technology.
Yeah, exactly. And if we can do that with eggs, like, what about other foods? Like,
exactly.
could we have plant-based meat that's, like, super protein-rich?
Yeah.
Tastes amazing?
Yeah, more flavorful than regular meat.
Yeah.
That would be something else.
That's crazy.
I know, it really is.
To think about, like,
Yeah.
where this could all go.
The future of food is so exciting.
It is. It's a very exciting time to be alive.
It is.
If you're a foodie, that is...
Definitely, yeah.
I feel like this has been a really eye-opening deep dive for me.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
It has been.
Yeah.
So, like, what would you say are some of the key takeaways from all of this?
Well, I mean, I think the biggest one is that
Yeah.
the world of food is changing so rapidly,
Uh-huh.
and plant-based eggs are like a perfect example of that.
Yeah.
We've seen how science and technology are coming together
Right.
to create food that's more sustainable,
Uh-huh.
more nutritious,
Yeah.
and more accessible.
Like, we don't have to settle for what we've always had.
Exactly. We
Yeah.
can create a better food system.
Yeah. So, to our listener,
Yeah.
the next time you're at the grocery store and
Yeah.
you see those plant-based eggs,
Yeah.
just take a moment to appreciate
Yeah.
all the work that went into making them.
Yeah, all the science and the innovation.
It really is like
Yeah.
a glimpse into the future of food.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us on this deep dive
It was my pleasure.
into the fascinating world of plant-based eggs.
Yeah, it was fun.
We'll catch you next time
See you later.
on the deep dive.